don't ever look at them, so why are they here?
I hang out in the food one for Frog Pants.
Mm.
Talk about all my foodie projects. Oh, that's not us. That's
Yeah, I've got like 5 that I check on the regular, and like most of them, 4 of them are literally just games I'm in, or tabletop groups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one I check the most is my D&D group. Oh, I also have a Polycule one, so that one's also checked frequently.
Hi, kitty.
Although no one uses it either, so
Oh well, yeah.
Oh, I need to add my what have you been up to? I found the South Korean version of Hannibal. Basically, it's much shorter, but it's an interesting drama. I'm almost done with it, and it's terrifying. South Korea does horror really well.
Yep. Oh, that's right. I was going to show you our game of bowling and the scores that are very impressive, and we totally did not have bumpers on. I mean, I did not take advantage of the fact that we had bumpers and applied skee ball logic.
Hey, it's fine. Hannah, Annabelle.
For bowling on there.
I don't know how to spell it. It's fine. That's not how you spell that, but I can't be bothered. It's fine.
Oh my gosh, cat.
Okay.
well, so I won't know the difference.
I was making like signs for things. We were helping Ray with like the art room clean out, and I was just like, how do I spell suiting? I can't corduroy? We're just gonna take a stab at that. I don't know.
My sister-in-law says thank you. She was very impressed, and I'm going back on Wednesday to get more stuff situated.
Yeah. It feels like we didn't make much of a dent, but I know we did.
Yeah.
Am I gonna have to drive down to get stuff? I don't want to ask you to ship stuff, but
Well, it depends. The big thing I have a lot of right now is frames. I have
And mosaic stuff.
glass stuff.
Yeah.
But I reached out to Jazz, Stone Mountain.
Yeah.
And apparently, since she's part of the Georgia State University Clarkston group, I can give her whatever is left over, and she'll be able to use that as like a school donation for the university.
Yeah.
And the art
Yay.
class. But like, Ember, if there's anything in like particular you're looking for, like there's paints, there's oil pastels, there's canvases.
Yeah,
There's
the only
still
thing
fabric.
Oh boy. Well, fabric's a problem.
Of
that I
course,
have.
I mean, nice
So
with
I
its
can
own
always use
case.
that. My major thing right now is I need 4 8x10 frames for some art I bought at the Odysseys and Curiosities.
She might have them.
8x10s.
Yeah. Like, there's so
I-
many.
I've literally just been asking people to give me a list of like the size of the art so I can measure the frames, because there are. I know where I got my hoarding of frames and mats from. It's the woman who taught me how to frame and mat.
That would make sense.
Not even related by blood, but it doesn't matter.
That's fine.
Okay, I think we're all at similar levels. Yay!
Hooray.
Well, I'm crooked. I don't.
Shush, cat.
Let's move my whole monitor rather than moving my chair. Like, it's a weird space I have. Oh, I know. One more thing, and then we'll go live.
Okay.
I love your shirt, by the way. Don't
Thank you.
forget to
It's
love
a
each
Critical
other.
Role shirt.
It's awesome.
They have an updated version with even more flags on it, so.
Ooh, shiny.
Okay. My hair is wet.
Look at that.
An idiot. But I needed a bath. I forgot. I went for an ultrasound this morning, and I was like, they gooped on me. I should bathe.
Yeah.
Okay. None of y'all can hear our theme song still because Discord is how it is. But I'm hosting, so I'm just going to say shh until I start talking. And I'll play our theme song and get going. Ready?
We got perspective, we got the cool, we got the muscle, and you know we effing rule. We are the Geek Grills, we are the Geek Grills, alright. We got the know-how, we got control, we got the knowledge, and we tell you how it rolls. We are the Geek Grills, we are the Geek Grills, alright. We are the Geek Grills, we are the Geek Grills, tonight. Hell yeah.
Hello and welcome to episode 259 of Geek Grills. The Geek Grills podcast is supported primarily by our patrons. Please visit today at patreon.com/grills. I'm September. I'm also known as 9 of 12, and I'm joined here by my co-hosts, Linda.
Hello, everybody.
And Ray.
Oh, no, it's wrong. Sorry.
Today, for our topic, we have a very special guest, Veronika Sucy. So, what have you grills been up to this geeky week?
I guess I will go first since I am first on the list. We had our Garden of Destiny's LARP, where I get to play my dragon, enchantress, witch, bear folk thing. She's got a lot of nomers now. So that was a lot of fun. I got to, be flouncy yet intimidating because I have fancy dresses, but then like draconic makeup. So that's always fun to do. I'm really happy because some of the people that play with us in ATE, which is the much northern LARP that we play up in Tennessee, farther up in Tennessee, came down to play with us for Gods, and I was like, yay, I get to see you in a different setting and a different character.
Neato.
That was a lot of fun. The thing that I am most kind of like amused by for this game is the downtime that I have chosen to do is basically walking in as a substitute teacher for a bunch of teenagers. So you get to imagine my character going in with like her like super, maleficent horns and just hello children. So that's going to be entertaining. I don't know what fallout's going to happen from that, but it's LARP. So you just get to roll with it.
LARPer's gonna LARP.
LARPer's gonna LARP. I've done some obligatory crocheting. I am still crocheting like the wind, trying, have my menagerie up there, be a full rainbow of critters to take to market day. My most recent thing I've done is a 3 peas in a pod. And the peas come out and say hello.
Oh my goodness.
That's adorable.
So they get to live in there, and I'm sure whoever buys that will just have fun chucking those around.
Multicolored peas.
Many peas. I also just finished, he doesn't have a mouth yet, but another one of the light bulbs that goes for my my string of lights that will eventually exist. I'm almost done with all of them. He has eyeballs, but no mouth yet.
That's
So
like
that's-
a few antennae away from being a Greedo plushie.
Yeah.
You realize?
Yep.
Yes. It'll look different when they're all in a string. Right now, they all kind of look like different colored peppers. It's fine.
I'm saying it's an opportunity.
Multi-pepper.
This past weekend, I did kind of a March birthdays thing with my family because in our immediate family, basically me, my husband, my mother-in-law, and my dad all have birthdays in March. My mom is the only odd one out. She's in October, but his dad, his dad passed away, but his dad had an October birthday, so our birthdays were like all in March and October, which was kind of funny. But we went out to Fujihana, which is a Japanese steakhouse, and got to have the big flames coming up off of the grill as they were making the meats and stuff, and the what do they call it? The onion volcano, where they stack up the onion things and then they fill it full of the lighter fluid basically and just set it on fire. So that was fun.
I'm pretty sure they use cooking oil, but
I know.
Lighter
edible,
fluid.
the edible lighter fluid.
Don't eat the lighter fluid.
The cooking oil.
Cooking oil, sure.
Cooking oil, also known as edible lighter fluid. Anyway. And then continuing on my South Asian dramas kick that I've been on for the past few months, I have basically found the Korean version of Hannibal. It's like 10 episodes long. I'm on episode like 7 of 10. 8, it'll be, 8 when I get to it later tonight, I'm sure. But I'm like, I started watching it, and the thing that Korean dramas do really well is horror. Come to find out. So, like, I'm watching it along with not a reenactor, it's the wrong genre. A reactor. And that's a good thing, because I would be scared shitless if I didn't have, like, somebody talking.
It's like having a buddy.
Yeah, it's like having a buddy, and I'm like, oh, this is so creepy. I'm so creeped out. I'm real glad you're here. Ah.
Aww.
But it is like, that's all I'm gonna say about it. It's the Korean version of Hannibal, basically, in a shortened form. I think it's still on Netflix. It's got like 2 names. Like, it's Strangers from Hell, but it's also called Hell is Other People.
Okay.
I don't know what name it goes by on Netflix, because the reactor calls it Strangers from Hell, but when I look it up, it's got both going for it, so it's one of those 2. Really good. Really terrifying. So I'll let you know at the end of it if I recommend, because right now I'm just kind of getting through it like, I don't know, guys. I don't know.
It might be for you folks, right?
Yeah.
Might be for other folks.
Yeah.
So
that's basically what I've been up to.
Cool. I got to see Enter the Haggis. That was super fun and exciting to see our old buddies, band Rob used to be in, and we got a new a CD from them that we didn't have yet, but I'm gonna have to go in my car to listen to it. I haven't gotten to it because it's the only place I could play a CD. But I had to get it because they dedicated a song to him, which was really sweet, because it's named after a pub in Toronto that he had actually played at with them. So we had this nice surprise dedication happen. Super cool. Other than I fell on my face. But it's a whole nother. Mark your steps. What else? I went camping. That was fun. They have these new cabins at our local state park that they made good use of shutdown time a couple years ago and put in these nice little cabins. And it's still like real rustic. I mean, you've got your fire pit and your picnic table. There's tent camping all in the area, but the cabins have like a room that has 2 sets of bunk beds and a room with like a queen bed, and it's got heat inside. So even though it was down in the 30s at night, when we came in from the fire, we had heat to sleep with. So that was pretty awesome. I spent 2 nights there with my friends and one of their kids and her best friend one night, and then it was just grown-ups the second night, and introduced them to some Get Set Go music, which was really cool. We listened to I played Fuck It Whatever Okay. I felt like Eric would really like that song. And then I played Paleophile, which is about wanting to fuck dinosaurs, and Tanya spit her drink, and the thing is, she did it again the second night. Like, she was so, like, I caught her at the right time. She's, like, taking a drink of something, and then there's a song about tickety tock with the big dino cock, and so, but I played that and some other indie music that they hadn't heard and got them interested. And I was really glad to have that going on, and of course camp cooking, which is like my favorite. I had an ultrasound this morning. They're checking my gallbladder because I hope it's not an allergy, but it's only when I eat eggplant I get excruciating pain, and I finally have enough other shit sorted out that they're checking into that. No idea. It'll be a couple of days before I know what's going on. And I got a great call the other day. My oldest son is pregnant. Well, his wife is. But they're like that. Like, we're pregnant. I'm like, yes. And, their idiot brother's like, what do you mean they? Ha, ha, ha. Shut up. That's how it should be. He's going to be a good dad. And they're really excited. They weren't sure she could have children, and they thought it might be a struggle, and they've only been married 5 months. So, yay! I'm going to be a grandma again.
Congrats.
And they're only a couple hours away, because, like, my other grandkids are in Oregon, and I hardly ever get to see them. So, the whole family's really excited. I thought my dad would be more excited, because he's all about the Stewart line and whatever, and there's finally gonna maybe be someone for that. So yeah, a good week for that. I immediately, the best thing about it for me, honestly, has been so far, they called me with any advice or information you might have and specific questions they had, and that, like, they trust me and wanted to talk to me like that, and I did something right as a mom. Like,
Aw.
like I would never ask my parents for parental advice. It's kind of like, that's where I learned what not to do, and that's all I had to go with. So that was, super wonderful, just like their wedding, and helping with it was a good experience. So I'm excited. Unfortunately, they don't know the due date yet, and it's looking, I'm cross my fingers it's not while I'm on my cruise. It's like the end of October, beginning of November, and that's where I'm going to be, in the Bermuda Triangle for Halloween. It would be my luck that also that's exactly when the baby will be born.
You'll come back and you'll be like, surprise baby. Well, not surprise baby, but here you go.
There you go. Yeah. Oh, I mean, I guess at that point I just reroute my way home to stop by. So what have you been up to, Ray?
I'm going backwards. So we started cleaning out my mother-in-law's art room, which I enlisted the help of Linda and 2 other local friends to help me, because even though I know she's mostly a painter and a mosaic artist,
We found yarn.
as a crafter, you just accumulate random things, and for like, oh, I got really into macrame for a while and never picked it back up. Or so I'm like, there's so much stuff. I was like, what is this for? What is it? So we managed to like figure out 99.9%. There's still like a 2 by like a block of wood that we're still not sure what the heck it is, other than, why wouldn't you have a random block of wood, I guess? Sure.
I aspire to be as organized as this woman was.
She was so organized. So
Everything was labeled except for the block of wood and a couple of other things.
Wow.
So it was literally just kind of going through and getting the initial, like, what do people want? How do we divvy this up? How do? So, and then I'm finishing it this week and helping them out since there's an end of life celebration. So families coming in, because we did the cremation very quickly. So this is more of the, family gets to come in and close friends, and we all share that together. Before that was the Gods Game, which is, it was fun. There was a Satan Sinners Ball, so it's always the excuse to get fancy at a LARP, to wear fancy clothes in the woods.
Because why not?
I got to harass my frenemy in play. Probably not even really a frenemy. I probably think that she's more of a frenemy, and she just doesn't really acknowledge my existence, and that's great. But I found a very nice suit that resembled her, like this purple suit. So I just kind of like did this huffy little, I'm a corporate sellout act. She was not amused, which made me highly amused, so that was great. And then The Last of Us just finished up, and that was very good, and I can't wait to see more of it. That show has been full of feels.
I'm still on the show before and the triggering ending. Oof.
I will say the ending. This episode didn't get me as much as some of the other episodes, like as far as like gut punching, but it felt okay. Like it felt good. This is a good, which I was grateful for because I'm like I don't need any more emotional gut punches for a while.
Any of those in real life.
Yeah. What about you, Veronica?
So about you, Veronica, what's your week been like?
Well, for the audience, I mentioned this a little bit before we started recording. I'm in a polycule. One of my partners here in Seattle is moving back to the East Coast to help their mother. Um, well, she deals with cancer, and they're moving next week. So I've kind of been mostly kind of keeping that partner, on the path to getting ready to move. And this weekend we got to go out on Saturday and get a really good have a good time in the city, which we haven't really done since we moved here in 2020. So we went and got too much food. We got sick from eating, and we ended up not doing some of the things we wanted to do because of that. But it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. And then on Sunday, the whole polycule went to the movies. So that was a lot of fun. We saw Ant-Man, Quantumania, which I really enjoyed.
Oh, good. Yeah, I've heard good things and bad things. Strong opinions on it. So, this week we are going to talk about that game, I suppose, and the problem with She Who Shall Not Be Named. Veronica, as a guest, is personally impacted by the poisoning of the legacy that all of us had so many years of feeling seen with. So, Veronica, you want to tell the audience a little bit about yourself, maybe, and then we'll dig in.
We'll start off with the most pressing and obvious part of this whole thing. I'm a trans woman, so all of everything that's been going on with J.K. Rowling is deeply personal, and I even have I tell people sorry about that. What about that? I have a Harry Potter tattoo on my arm, and it's gonna get covered up, and it hasn't been yet. And yeah,
Oh, it made the hair on the back of my arms stand up. Because, like, I know other people with tattoos, and it's something I think about constantly, like that level of betrayal,
upset.
but I didn't know you had one. And
Yeah, people think I'm just upset about it. No, I loved Harry Potter. I really got into it. And I met my wife because who I'm not married to anymore. Well, we are, but don't live with. She's still in New York. But we met because on the dating profile I had a picture of me dressed as Harry Potter. And that just was enough to start the conversation. And so Harry Potter has been important to me for a long time. And then J.K. Rowling started running her mouth, and it was like, ooh, boy.
yeah, it's been. I think you were also sharing that TikTok. Recently somebody was trying to explain why this is so traumatic. Because I mean, that's how many variations have been made on it, like dressing up in parade and identifying with these characters as outcasts and doing the right thing, and the whole story seems so anti-fascist, and like, how can you be standing in line with this bullshit where you should never be able to go in the bathroom, and not understanding when this whole thing first broke. We talked about it on this show, and I was like, all right, she's gotta educate herself and she'll turn around. And she didn't. She wrote a fucking 3,000 word essay.
She literally doubled down.
Yeah.
And just got worse.
Yeah.
And I mean, when I was investigated for I mean, I don't want to make this about me because it's not, but I do feel it. so many ways for all my friends in the community too. I mean, I've done security for Trans Pride. Like I will always be there. And we got investigated because my kid, like, for playing D&D, a school psychologist reported us to Health and Human Services, and like we got investigated, and the social worker showed up at my house, and she was like wearing a Harry Potter lanyard, and she's like, all right, I have to do this. All these claims are really fucking stupid and ridiculous, but like I have to come visit, and all right. And I'm like, cool. Also a Ravenclaw. And we just had a really great conversation, and obviously the investigation was very quickly dropped, but like that kind of identifying each other in public, going to a trivia event, right? And those are your people, and having that taken so brutally to where I've thrown away all my stuff. Like shirts I wore when I was pregnant with my oldest son, the one who's having a kid now. Like, thankfully he doesn't have any tattoos to worry about, but we have shit in the attic from when he got to see her in person and read because he wrote an essay.
I mean, I had like 6 copies of each of the books at one point in time, you know?
Yeah.
I had audiobooks, I had, all that stuff. And
Like, we
most
had
of it was
doubles of
kind of left
everything
behind.
because his grandparents in Canada would send us their covers because they were different and were named different even.
Yeah, when I did my study abroad in England, like one of the things I bought, one of the things that I actually bought in England was a copy of, I think it was the third book. 'Cause that was my favorite out of all of them, was the Prisoner of Azkaban, and I bought it so I could have the English, the UK cover.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Prisoner of Azkaban was also my favorite. That's where my tattoo comes from.
Oh.
It's Sirius Black as a dog. It doesn't look good anymore, but that's what it was
I-
supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird to have something that you used to use as an identifier to bring people together as like a sense of community and just getting to know each other and just like, what house are you? Like that was like what the 70s equivalent of what's your sign?
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
just like, oh, I'm a Ravenclaw or I'm a Hufflepuff or
And we
whatever.
even did like a themed like Dragon Con
Yeah, we had the
set, but because there was a set of drawings that had come out at that point a couple of years, more than a couple of years now, but a few years ago, where it was like uh Hufflepunk, Ravenclaw, um Gryffindor, and Slitherswing, and they had like drawn them in like these different musical styles, and so we actually did like a set of those for costuming, and it's just that's
it's retired now.
it's
Like
retired now. I don't even have the shirt anymore, or the
Yeah,
it
it's
it's
didn't
all dirty now. Like, I literally threw
yeah.
away Potter maternity stuff. Like, and I couldn't wear it in public because
I didn't even think about that
now
until
it'll hurt someone. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, Jesse Gender brought that up on one of their videos, and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think about it, like coming across as like a hateful thing now, and I'm like, oh gosh,
People are
'Cause,
whistling the Harry Potter theme to trans kids in the Seattle public school year
uh,
to show
oh,
that they don't support them. It's
oh
ridiculous.
my.
it's it's just awful to see it just twisted this way,
Yep.
and you want to educate,
My
and
husband
people
was like, "Do you want to take his Xanax?" Because I was like, "No, it's all content. I'm gonna try not to cry." Ugh.
I think
I'm
the
really bad at
doubling
being
down
angry. I cry
is
instead.
the most disappointing because like people had reached out and people are like, maybe this was an accident, maybe like
People have tried having good faith conversations with her on Twitter, and she just ignores them or pulls what she wants out to pick on. Just
Oh, she's made no
she's
bones,
awful.
and
He's awful.
That's the thing. It's doubling down, it's tripling down. It's unfollowing Stephen King right after raving about him because he said trans women are women and she blocked him. So that's the line she's drawn, is just like she said, well, people are still buying my stuff, so obviously they support me. Blocking people like that, tweeting like how can you sleep at night, losing all these people who were so in love with your work and these LGBTQ people, and she's like, oh, I look at my royalty checks and I sleep pretty well. Okay, that's another level of gross besides that disappoints and hurts me.
Yeah.
What the fuck? So today something I did come across and looking over, because I basically I ignore, I boycott, I throw away my stuff. There's a few things I haven't thrown away because I don't know. I'm not gonna ever wear it in public. Like, there's a shirt I'll sleep in, but it'll never leave the house. I even threw away my socks recently, though. Like,
I have 2 Harry Potter shirts still, if it makes you feel better. I just wear them inside out.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
People are like, why are you wearing this shirt inside out? Because this shirt makes my boobs look really good, so I'm going to wear it, and I'm just going to wear it inside out because it says Gryffindor on the other side.
There you go. Yeah, I even threw away my socks. But I came across where this was the most upsetting thing I came across today until you mentioned the whistling. That she equated transition therapies and care to conversion therapy. And I don't know why that was the thing that felt like I got punched in the face.
She's twisting it.
It's such an abominable thing to say. I think probably because it's that fascist bent that is so dangerous. You know, like because she comes back with this, like, well, many medical people are concerned. No, not many, just one you found. And people are taking your word and backing themselves, and they're doing that I did my research lie instead of actually looking at legitimate research, and it's endangering lives. Like, I know so many people who've been threatened, endangered, beat up, hospitalized because of hateful beliefs that have nothing to do with truth. So,
And we have to talk about it because it's a big issue, and this kind of like mentality is just encouraging awful things to, like, legislation to push through on like a state level. And
I don't know how familiar you all are with this, but in the UK, last I checked, I'm not positive it hasn't been overturned, but trans kids in the UK have been living for over a year without hormones because of J.K. Rowling. And that's what they're trying to do here. Oh, except, they're trying to take it to the next level with some of the bills they're passing, but
yeah, oh gosh.
yep.
I don't know. I don't know anybody who.
And it's happening here.
I know it's happening here, and it's just like, majority of the friends I know are older, so like they never had the chance to get on hormones before, well, after puberty, and the fact that they want to stop it or not even give you puberty blockers to have some time. And
puberty blockers.
Gosh.
I mean, I'm probably preaching to the choir. People probably know this, but if not, they should. Puberty blockers are reversible. They are also, they have no long-term effects. There have been many studies that have proven, and they've been used for cis kids for forever. Like, we've been using them for decades, just for kids that start, menstruating too early or whatever. It's not new stuff. It's just give them a little time, let them figure it out. Like, the thing that really annoys me is everyone's all like, oh, they're performing mastectomies on children. who? Like, you can't remove boobs if a kid hasn't
That's
gone
not
through
a
puberty
thing.
yet.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, what? What part of this? I, it's
Yeah, I
just
have a
all
local friend,
misinformation.
and like, he's a good guy, but he believes all that. And I've tried to get through. Like, that's not actually happening. Well, I saw this video. No, that's not happening. And some of what you're talking about happening is actually impossible to happen. And acting like this is all just new and people are making stuff up. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I know someone who recently died my mother's age, and they had been subjected to being given testosterone because they weren't male enough, like coming through puberty, and family doctors were giving, hormone therapy in what was the wrong fucking direction for what they wanted, but their parents beat them into that.
And because of what they
Literally.
were assigned at birth, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's like, we have the science now. Like, there are more. Gender is a construct, and even physical sex, there's like a lot of them.
It's not a binary. Nothing is a
Yeah.
binary.
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing.
I mean, nothing. Why would this be any different? Nothing is.
Ugh.
I just.
It is now. This is when we you start finding out who your representatives are, and you start emailing them and calling them. Be like, don't do this. This is
I've
what
done
we
that
can
with-
do.
There's a handful of bills actually in Washington State that they're not going to get passed. There's no way they'll make it. But I've still done my work to say, hey, this is problematic, and here's why to my representatives, because I think it's important that doesn't somehow slip through. And I have a partner who says all the time, and I'm behind this. Like, yeah, we have it good in Washington right now, but we're an election cycle away from just one bad election, and it could be downhill from there.
Yeah,
And they need to
I
hear
believe there
it.
was like literally a
Yeah.
map I had just saw where it's like these are the states are most likely okay-ish, and these are the ones that are literally just one election. And then also there were some like we're in Georgia. Well, two of us are in Georgia, so we were also passing around like here's a basic letter. That's all you need to do is just email this to the representative, and just get some more attention brought to it. Like
The ACLU also has a website where you can pull up legislation in your state, and it actually has links right there that let you just copy paste and send it to who you need to send it to.
I just
Yeah, the
it's
ACLU is
hard
really
enough.
great for that. And for us, Southern Poverty Law Center has always got really great resources for all of these issues. And it does matter. I mean, people think your policymakers are not listening, but I know from having worked in politics that, like, they at least, there is a tally. Even if you call and you don't get to talk to somebody, you write, you don't get to talk to somebody, there is a tally of how many times they have heard on which side of this issue. And there's a point at which you can tip the scale, like, no matter, unless, I mean, I don't think DeSantis is going to ever fucking wake up, but if he thinks it threatens his winning.
Unless they either they have the compassion to be like, okay, this is an issue that people are concerned about, or they have the political knowledge to be like, if I don't change, I'm gonna lose office.
Mm-hmm.
One of those is a lot more callous than the other, but they both serve the same goal. So it's a lot of issues that are ongoing politically can feel like we as people, normal people, don't have a lot of power, but we can, if we all start speaking up, we can start shifting the narrative.
Especially on the
just-
local.
Yeah,
And
it's something we gotta remember.
yeah, like we are actually their bosses.
Yeah.
The other thing, and I think that's a really good way to transition into boycotting and products and games and fucking
The importance.
let's get on the let's not give JK any more royalties. TikTok challenge. Let's not go to fucking Chick-fil-A. And why that does matter. People don't think it matters. And it does, man. Sometimes you got to go after the bottom line, and it is hurting people. And every time you give her $1, she's like, "See, it's fine." And then that is a ripple effect where people are like, "We'll see, it's okay. We'll see, it's okay." I mean, I know Veronika and I have seen it in our own online communities with like, "Well, I'm not hurting anybody," and you are.
Mhm.
You could, if you can't just not play that one fucking game, it says something to me. It says something to all of us.
I learned who a lot of my friends were and weren't because of that game in the last month.
Yeah.
I said to somebody today, and if they're listening, because they may, I don't know. I said to them today, they mentioned playing it and doing these things to make them feel better. I'm like, well, I still hope you didn't pay for it at least. Like, go ahead and play it if you really feel you need to, but if you pay for it, the royalties do go to J.K. Rowling, whether or not you want to tell yourself that she's not involved in that process. She certainly is, and her clout is a lot.
Yep.
And adding to that clout does not help anything.
I am. I am disappointed that I will never go to Harry Potter World. Like, we had thought about going to Universal, and sometime in the not so distant future, and actually going to Diagon Alley and all that stuff, and I'm like, nope.
Yeah, I wanted to do that at one point in time too,
Yeah.
but no, I just can't. I just
Nope.
can't.
I kind
I
of
don't
just
know.
don't think about it because I did go. Me and my whole family got to go before this shit
I have
hit the
friends
fan.
who are regular Disney people that go every year, and they still go to the Harry Potter stuff almost every year. I'm like,
I'll
Yeah,
go to
I
Disney
certainly
World.
won't ever go again.
Yeah,
there's some of my best allies, and so I feel
Yeah.
bad, but like their whole family's going, and it's like I don't know.
Disney doesn't own Universal yet, so I can.
Still waiting for Disney DeSantis to go at it.
I had a thought just now while we were talking. If DeSantis's thing goes through, where trans kids visiting the state can be taken by the state, the first time we have a child kidnapped by Florida in Disneyland, or actually, a trans kid could be in the Harry Potter world at Universal. I mean, that's, I guess, the same either way because that's not Disney. So it would
Yeah.
still be the case in Florida in general. But, like, that's crazy. Like, it's just ridiculous.
The first time that happens, the federal government is going to get involved,
So,
and it's going to get a lot more complicated for Florida.
Well, recently DeSantis did manage to appoint 2 members to the board of what was formerly Reedy Creek. For those of you that don't know, back in 1976, I believe, Disney World was granted their own civic district.
Oh, yeah.
Lake Buena Vista and Reedy Creek. And they recently they're breaking that up and appointed 2 members to that board. And you gotta think that's some long game shit to also try and enforce those laws, because Disney does retain its own set of laws, but it's usually due to it's like recycling quotas and manufacturing quotas and things that are different there. But yeah, it would make that whole part of the state potentially subject to, like, the other thing he was doing is they were what was it? Sorry. Making it so that you could not. Oh yeah, they brought it up in the board meeting for the Disney sector there that they wanted to pass a rule that you could not make any changes if a pandemic happened again. You could not have any mask mandates or change in park operations due to that.
Oh, no, they're not going to go for that. Look, man.
wow. Like, no, you will have to endanger people despite your, mission.
Look, I hate to break it to this guy, but Disney has way more money than he does,
Mm-hmm.
and they have way more influence than he thinks he does. And if they want to change things and change laws, they can, and I'm sure they will. Uh,
And they're very pro LGBTQ, and
yeah, I just had
The
I
porn
had this
star.
I
Disney
had
itself
this
is questionable.
but I had this sudden like thought that ran through my brain of like, Florida's laws getting worse and worse, but like Disney has kept like a lockstep with itself, and just like them being a sanctuary. So like just trans people running to Disney World as sanctuary if they have to go through Florida.
could only make it better.
But I'm just like,
I mean,
that was a weird thought to have, and also I hope. God, that was dark.
I think they have to change the shirt color for Pride Day, though. 'Cause
Ugh.
it's always been, I was a cast member, and when they would have Pride Days in the park, our self-identification then was, it was red shirts. I don't think we should be a bunch of red shirts.
No, let's go with blue.
Well, they don't own Paramount, so
That's true. They don't own Star Trek.
Red shirts don't count in Disney.
The people who target us don't know that. They are not part of our meme-verse.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I'm hoping that the ultimate Florida man will get kicked out of office soon.
Yeah. So, yeah, anything that's going to give her money, folks, it's really important to not do that. Just don't. There's
She
plenty
doesn't
of things
care.
to do. She does not care. Well, she cares enough to, like, actually do harm.
J.K. Rowling does. I have decided that she has become like corporations. She doesn't care about you as a person. She doesn't care about, anything other than her bottom line. And that's very. She may be a lovely person, maybe, but no, not anymore. She's just become this selfish, self-centered, awful being that I don't want to support anymore.
Well, she's also done recent active harm with new characters in the new book.
Ugh.
She's written about a serial killer
yeah.
who is a male is dressed as a female, and then when asked about it, said it's based on real things. She has fucking gone there.
Yeah.
More active harm to another generation.
Do it well.
Like,
She
I
doesn't
am
even
grateful
pull
that
any
my
trans-
other kids
Yeah.
didn't get into her.
A man dressed as a woman is not a.
No, it's not. But she's equating all of this, and in the name of feminism, which is no, please. It got so bad thinking about it today. Like, I was like, all right, are there statistics on the fucking turfs? Are the turfs, and for those of you out there who don't know what a turf is, I did think, and I meant to start the segment with explaining what that is for folks, but it's trans exclusionary radical feminist. I hate that feminist is even in there because it's like a fucked up misnomer about what feminism is and what femme is and whatever, but they act like trans people is some kind of threat. It's like this bizarro world platforming they do, like it's threatening the existence of women, and women, we have struggles they don't understand, and like it's some kind of fucking competition or threat. And I was like, I feel like it's all women of a certain age, and I'm that age. Like, can we like develop a virus, and it could be a computer and biological virus, and I will volunteer as tribute to take it out, and can we just remove these people? I was like, oh my god, she tricked me into wanting eugenics. Like, this group of people is so bad and culturally dangerous.
I don't understand the argument either. It's like, oh, well, they won't ever understand what it's like to have a period. I'm like, but we're not going to understand what it's like to be trans. We don't understand that
Also-
mental and physical struggle of feeling so uncomfortable in the way your body is and have it be so anathema to what you are. Like,
And also,
what?
I do get a period.
Yeah. And like you do still have hormonal shifts
Mhm.
and like,
Yep.
oh God, I'm really like that's the argument I always hear, and it always blows my mind because it's like none of that you're trying to use like empathy, but you're failing. You're trying to be like, oh well, they'll never understand my struggle. Well, it's not about your individual struggle. Everybody has struggles. Why can't we come together and support each other and help
Lift up
each
the
other?
voices. Lift up the
Right,
voices
like,
who aren't heard.
and that's real feminism is uplifting your sisters, not just your cis sisters.
Not even just sisters.
Yeah, like
Real feminism these days is about everybody. You know,
Yeah,
everybody.
everybody
benefit
needs
from
equality. Like, it's so frustrating. And
Yeah, the same people
that's the
just
part that gets me the most.
will never understand the difference between equity and equality and just humanism.
I just
Yeah, I just it's like why some of the times I just want to look at people and be like, how do you have no empathy? How do you go through your life? That's something you can't teach people. You cannot teach people empathy, and that is so frustrating.
I mean, you can, but you gotta get them young.
Eh.
like
'Cause
like
I learned it from
kindergarten.
transitioning myself, so
Well, it's like
Oh, really?
the folks that
Okay.
the folks that you would want to like try and teach empathy, unfortunately, they're the ones that are like, if I have to struggle, then everyone has to struggle. Instead of being like, if I have to struggle, then I don't want anyone else to struggle.
Like that's just such a core mentality. Like I don't get the well. If I had to, I had to struggle, if I had to pay for student loans, why
Then
should
everyone should have to pay for student loans. Like, F off.
you? No. You should be happy that your future kids might not have to worry about student loans
And
like,
crippling debt and anxiety.
and stupid bathroom bills.
Like,
Oh my god, just let people go and do their business in a facility. Just don't question it. Like,
well, wizards poop on the floor and they magic it away, right? That's why J.K. Rowling has officially stated how bathrooms work in the Wizarding World, which is dumb because the first book has a bathroom in it. There's a troll in it, which also little transphobic.
yeah. There's a haunted bathroom in the second book. There's
Oh.
bathrooms.
Myrtle.
Ah.
Forgive.
So it's
Terrible
interesting,
parents.
Veronika. You barely. I heard you in there talk about how transitioning has helped you learn empathy.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it was hormonal. Part of it is really before I transitioned, I had a really hard time. I had taught myself not to cry. I had taught myself to stuff those feelings down. And in all honesty, I've only really been able to cry this year, 2023, and I'm 6 years into transition. But as that started to that wall kind of started to break down of being able to cry, I started to realize, let's worry about what other people are feeling and also take those things into account. And I mean, I'm not going to say that I was not empathetic, but I think I'm more empathetic now than I was back then by quite a bit.
That makes sense. I mean, I'm glad to hear that. There's something about being safe to cry, being able to be open, and I think it is about safe space, which is like I had an unrelated incident recently where I realized, there are things I don't feel unless I'm safe, and that it came from past trauma, and I can see where that easily relates when you're like, having to live with not being in the right in the body you need to be in.
Yeah, it was. It was. I mean, it took me 35 years to fully realize it. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of work. I mean, I could go over like all my my whole life and how it manifests itself. But one of the biggest things I still remember is I always had intrusive thoughts that were just, you need to be a woman, and I just ignored them, and I was like, no, go, shoot, think about something else. And it ended up coming to a head in 2016 when I finally transitioned.
And that's such a why it's so important to so many of us to create this safe space for everyone, and why we will not support cultural phenomena and bad people that keep stopping that from happening. All of our trans friends have always been here. All our non-binary friends, they've always been here as long as there's been recorded history, and there's ample evidence of that. And we just started making some progress so that there's visibility, and there are people like J.K. Rowling who are trying to take that away and stamp it down, and our own politicians that deny the existence of people is a dangerous path that people have been on before.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can say it's not the same, and you're wrong, you start converting people and putting them in camps, and like it's not.
Yeah.
Why did people watch The Handmaid's Tale and think this looks like a great idea, right? Like, and it's emboldened,
One of
and
the
then
things that
vulnerable
really
communities who can't get the rights that everyone else already has are the first in line to have them taken away. Like there's broken
one of
shit
the
in the
things,
ERA that doesn't cover all of us.
yeah, one of the things I find that at least the American education system has failed me is trans role in the Holocaust. We were people that were killed. Uh, Trans people, gay people. The first book burning was the Maxwell, or oh, I can't think of his name now. It just popped out of my head. Uh, the guy, he ran a house of trans women, and that's where they burned the first books. And they were all trans, information and documentation on trans people, and it all got burned. And that's why we have no history. And then the 80s gave us the AIDS epidemic, and we were wiped out again. And now here we are 40 more years later, and who knows where it's going to go.
I personally have friends who like they will never come out of the closet still, like as far as like, yeah, I've just had to accept it, like it's too late for me, I'm too old, it'll never happen. And
Never too
that
late.
just makes me so sad.
It's
I'm
never
like,
too
no,
late.
Never.
you should do it, you should still embrace your truth.
Yep.
Never. I have a friend my age who just came out a couple, like, year or two ago. And my friend Janice was in her. Well, started doing drag earlier on in her 60s, 50s and 60s, I think, but then didn't come out as trans until like 70, and couldn't do hormone therapy. Tried, but was diabetic and just physically couldn't. It was too late. I mean, but still could live in a happier place, and be accepted and find community with safe people.
I'm hoping that because there's more visibility now. Y'all have always been here, but there's just more visibility. People know, because that's the big thing is you have the whatever that are like, oh, this is all happening now and it's never happened before. I'm like, that's a lie.
No,
They've always been here. People have been people since people were people. Okay?
See, and there's people that they have this long-term plan, and they're in our fucking legislatures. Like, what's happening in Kentucky, banning drag shows, that's what the real targets are.
yeah, it's
But I'm hoping now, with the more visibility, there's more allies. People, will stand behind you and won't let it happen again.
and people have a better understanding of how to be good allies.
Yeah.
Because I remember way back in like the early 2000s, like mentioning this to my mom, like one of my friends is trans and she's having a really rough time just kind of deciding if she wants to talk to her parents about it. And she's like, oh, that's like that character on Nip Tuck, right? And I'm like, oh gosh. Yes, but no.
Sit down for a second. Let's have a chat.
Now we have so many like different actors, actresses, characters, like just people I can, and oh yeah, no, I understand this now. And
This is why representation is important.
I mean, for me, 2016 was right about when I started feeling comfortable, with accepting it. I felt like society had come to a point where I could do it, and I wouldn't lose my job or whatever, which still happens. People still lose their jobs over being trans, and unemployment for trans people is higher than typical people, than cis people, than any. I don't know. I can't say any other minority. I'm not going to say that, but because intersectionality and all that. But like we are, we are screaming for help, and people just aren't listening. And hopefully that's turning around. I'm hopeful that it's turning around. That's kind of where I've been this year. Has been like, okay, let's move forward with this. While at the same time, apparently DeSantis is also saying, okay, let's move forward with this in the other way. So
yeah.
I'm here like trying to find out if Transparent is still streaming on Amazon Prime.
it is still on Amazon. Jeffrey Tambor, who played the lead character, was problematic on that show, though. He harassed some of the trans women that were working on it. And
Jeez, after all the like tearful speeches and what he supposedly learned,
and there were so many trans people working on that show.
Yeah.
I think a lot of them ended up moving over to Pose. If you haven't checked out Pose, highly recommend it.
I will have to find it.
There was one episode that just was so like just as a trans woman, just amazing to see. It's
I watched a handful of them, but yeah.
It's literally just 4 trans women on a road trip, and it's like, oh my god, you don't see this anywhere else. And it's set in the 80s, so.
Oh wow, yeah.
That was its own time for sure.
Yep.
But then, yeah.
I think this whole thing with She Who Shall Not Be Named, I think that in our other show when we talked about it, it was something, we came to the conclusion that it was something like it's easier when they're dead. And I honestly think that her whole universe, it may not ever be okay for, the LGBTQ plus community again, or maybe years after she dies and goes away, maybe they'll start adopting it again out of spite,
Yeah.
It's hard to know, but like as of now,
it's poisoned. Yeah.
It's poison. Yeah.
I mean, Lovecraft's a good example of that.
I think
by being racist. So, but
we did bring that up. Yeah, we did bring that up in that episode as well. I think that's where it came from. It's easier when they're dead, because he's been dead for many decades.
Yeah,
I
and
watched,
having black folk be able to reclaim that and tell those stories is fucking brilliant.
Yeah. And I think that may be something that happens in the future. Yeah. And I hope she rolls in her grave.
Well, I'm gonna, 10 years after she passes, I'm going to have an all-trans cast of The Cursed Child.
Yeah.
I will watch that.
I feel like he's gonna die and Mardi Gras is gonna just go full, like, what house are you? We can get back into our house now.
Yeah.
Honestly, I kind of would rather try and push it while she's alive. I'm petty. I'm a petty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I understand it's far.
But she's got such a tight grasp on the
yeah,
whole
it's
thing.
far less litigious to wait.
Yeah.
Right? Jesus, she'd sue us for making our own stuff. Stupid cunt.
Well,
Uh,
Sorry, it makes me mad.
yeah.
Makes us all mad, obviously.
Oh.
Well, folks, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Either way, I'll take you on if I need to. We all will. Please feel free to chime in by emailing us at geekgrills@gmail.com, or you can also tweet us at geekgrills. I'm very emotional. All right. So, what are y'all most... well, actually, Veronika, is there anything you want to say before we clear the topic and move into our happy
I
bullshit?
had
What are you
something,
looking
but
forward
I don't
to?
remember what it was, so I'm good.
Okay. Well, anything you feel like you want to say, I will put it in our posts and our show notes and on our website. Happy to have any statements from you. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
No
It
problem.
means a lot to me. So what are you girls anticipating going forward this week?
I think I have a weekend where I don't have to do anything. It's a really weird concept, so crocheting and probably Asian dramas.
Two great tastes.
Two great tastes that go together.
I haven't planned out my week yet.
That's fair.
Play it by ear.
There's nothing on the trans agenda this week, is it?
Not that I've gotten a memo for.
We should go to brunch and get
Be
tattoos.
fabulous. That's on it every day. So
There you go. How about you, Ray?
Yeah, I've got the end of life celebration with the extended family, and then the art supply redistribution train that I'll be driving around, throwing art supplies, create
Choo
art.
choo.
To make art.
Nice. Ted Lasso comes back in 2 days, so hooray. I am very much looking forward to that. Tomorrow, I bought tickets a little while ago for our local arts council does this shows on Tuesday nights at the old jail. And apparently tomorrow it's like a film festival production of a local band called Blue. And it's like a movie about the band, and the band's going to be there for the showing of the movie. And it was like $10. So I'm like, cool, I'm going to do something on Tuesday. Because Wednesday's D&D, and as long as it'll make me get my character done before I have to go to the show. So remember, folks, you can always come watch us record live at twitch.tv/geekgrills on most Monday evenings. Our next one is on the 20th of March, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, where it's a game night. We're going to play Phasmophobia, right? Is that right?
Yes.
Oh, come on, you're watching a horror South Korean drama. You'll be good for this.
I have a friend that sits with me and yells when I do. She doesn't know me, but she's my friend.
We'll be there. We'll get you through Phasmophobia.
Okay.
You've got your Halloween Town friends.
Yes. In addition to the subs and bits that we get on Twitch, we are supported by our amazing patrons. You're the greatest girlfriends on the internet. You can become a patron at www.patreon.com/girls. And if you have Amazon Prime, you can sub to us for free every month on Twitch.
And another way to show your support is by leaving us a review. You can do so on any of your podcast catchers. You can check out what topics we're going to do in the next month on our schedule below on our Twitch page. And if you're a patron, you can always suggest a topic for us. We'll do it. And we'd love to hear your ideas.
And where can we find all of you on the interwebs?
You can find me on Instagram under the name madcap_misc, that's MISC, and you can check out my website at madcapm.com.
You can find me on Instagram under Dappeldame.
And you can find me on YouTube at Cast Pixie. I don't have any videos up there that are newer than a year old, but that's about the only thing I actually do.
Cool. And I can be found at 9of12.com. That's NINEOF12.com. Thanks for listening, everyone. Good game.
GG.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Yes, we're a weird little gang sign with Diamond Club.
Diamond Club.
They let me use their bumper at the end of the show because I was on the stream team when they still did team things that nobody does anymore, but I'm using it anyway, damn it. I want to someday be as cool as Tom Merritt and have Frog Pants and Diamond Club in there.
Good
Are you
luck with
coming to
that.
Vegas?
I'm coming to Vegas. Yeah. I'm bringing Abby with me, and I know Jaina will be there, so there'll be at least 3 transmen in there. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I know Jaina's planning ukulele situations, which
Yeah,
I'm
it's gonna be
excited
fun.
about. I don't know what's going on with karaoke. We were talking about, Brian was talking about getting ninja karaoke, and he said, because I was going to bring my equipment and just host fucking karaoke. Like, we'll just, Shane's got a suite. We'll just park there. But Brian said he wanted to do like an official thing. So you could still host. I'm like, is that a thing? Isn't ninja karaoke like you don't need a host? I wouldn't have to, but we'll get it all figured out and have a fabulous time, I am sure.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, my husband's actually coming this time.
Oh, nice.
He has never been to any of the things, any of the nerd trips that I've gone to. He's like, he never wanted to go to Vegas. Kind of still has a like, ew, why would I want to do that? But after we did the East Coast meetup and he met Amy and Chuck and stuff, he was kind of a little more like,
Amy Frost.
yeah.
I
No,
love her.
sorry. Amy Robinson.
Oh,
Red
yeah,
Fraggle.
okay.
And Chuck.
Gotcha.
And me that organized it. And Shane, Shave Maddox. He came and Audie Norman came. It's like, now he actually knows a handful of people. He'll have a place to like hide in a corner or something if it gets too much for him. I should probably make him take his ADHD stuff with us.
Probably a good idea.
Lovely.
Very overstimulating very fast, but also kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to stay on track. Well, thanks again.
Oh.
And if again, Veronika, if there's anything you want to write, say, something you think of that we missed that you want in there, or links, like I've got links up that I've been looking up that I will add to the show notes.
Let me find maybe I should find a
Activist link.
yeah, like
of your
trans lifeline.
Yeah?
That's my favorite org to donate to.
Totally.
I don't remember them.
I had to put
I
that.
think that was one of Ellie's too.
Have we stopped streaming?
No, I will. I can.
I'm just yawning. I'm yawning on camera, and I'm like, oh, I should
Alright.
see if we're like
Alright,
still
I'll stop.
streaming.